Hi, this is Everett, Everett's Watercolors. Here Simply Drawing with Everett tonight at 7:30 p.m. I'm broadcasting to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, and also later on to Instagram. And I'm in the studio tonight with my wife, Gloria,
Hello, everyone.
and she'll be monitoring the broadcast and the chat room. Chat room's live, so if you have any comments or questions, send them to me, please, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. That helps with my rating also. If this is the first time you've seen me on the drawing here in the evening, please subscribe to my channel. It also helps my rating, and that will keep you informed of my next video that comes along. Now tonight, what I'm going to do is do another drawing. A little background: I do a lot of drawing on the outside of location, so I thought tonight would be a good opportunity to do a location sketch. And so let me take you over to my painting table, my drawing table, and let me get started. Okay, now I do a lot. I visit the hardware store quite often, and I went there on purpose because I knew I could find a subject somewhere in the hardware store. So I stumbled upon this setup here on the shelf, and it's a perfect setup for a still life. Number one, it's got three objects, three lamps. And it's got overlapping. They don't stand side by side. They're overlapped to give me depth, and a little bit of uniqueness to a couple of them on the leaning and so forth. Give some interest. And so I did some cropping. I cropped my original photograph, and I'm going to simplify by I'm not going to include any of the details around here. Just the three lamps themselves. And also another thing to think about: I've got a little bit of value change. I got a light color here, a darker color here, and another light color. So again, good color combination here as far as drawing. And the objects themselves are completely different. There's anything alike. So it'll be a great opportunity to do a little drawing exercise. So I'm going to set this up here, and I've got my drawing paper. It's just a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of sketch paper, and I'm going to be using number 4B pencil for drawing, and I have another graphite pencil I use a little bit maybe for some shading. Then I got a stump that I can use for shading at the end, and I got my standby eraser. Okay, and when I'm out, I'm really not going to do a lot of sizing on this because I'm really going to just kind of draw from what I see, and I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start with this lamp right here. And if you look at the photograph, let's take a look at it for a second here. It's not exactly in the center. It's a little bit off, which is good. So it doesn't cut the drawing in half. So I'm going to put that just about the way it's located. I like the situation it's in. So let me get started here. I'm going to start with that lamp there, the one here with the curves on it. And I'm going to start here on this side. So I'll move over to here's a halfway mark. I'm going to go a little bit to the right of that. So it's always a good idea to go to the right. And I'm going to start with the center portion here. And I'm going to get the curves in. And again, I'm just drawing by what I see. Not doing any measurements or any particular details. I'm just drawing what I see, which is a way to do it. If you're drawing something that's standing someplace or sitting someplace drawing something, then just by observation, a little bit of contour drawing, you get the contour right and the shape right, and then you're almost there. So as I normally, when I start my sketch, I go in lightly. I don't go in there very strongly until I get the shape down that I like. And I come down to the bottom here. It's got a round edge. And I don't even describe what I'm doing. I just look at the shape and the size of it. I just draw what I see. I see a curve there. And it comes around, I see another curve up there. And there's kind of an edge curve right there, so it puts that in. Now move on up to the top here again. So I'll kind of get this one located first before I start any of these others. Get one established. Okay. Now the shade here comes around the front. I'll get that part. It's got like a small curve to it, and it comes around an oval behind this part over here. So I get the oval in there. Again, I'm still drawing in lightly right now. Just make sure I got the shape down before I do any heavy sketching. And now I can sight the angle. Get the angle of the shade. And the dimension, again, I'm going to just estimating it's a little bit shorter than this down here. So I'm going to estimate the height just by observation. Okay, I've got that one pretty well marked. I got to get a couple more marks over here. I'm going to work on. I'll get on this lamp on the right here. This lamp's a little shorter, and it's behind this lamp here. And then I'm going to come across here. It's as you see. Now look over here. It looks for. I'm just comparing where I am. On this side over here is the bottom. And I'll make it a little darker as I go along. Right now I'm just trying, I'm really getting the shapes in before I do any real strong detail. I'm just getting the shapes in, make sure I got the proportions. And I'll come down here to the bottom here. That's where the connection. Now this has got a little circular top. That's interesting. It's got a little circular top. So I can start that little drawing. Now the the dimension here is a little bit. It's further back. It's further back behind this one. So it's the bottom of it comes just above there. So I can kind of mark that in. I'll get the bottom located first. So that one's a little bit behind my drawing so far. I've got the middle lamp here started with a rough drawing, and I've started the back lamp on the right, and I'm just getting down here to the bottom now, the bottom edge, and I'll draw the sides in. Okay, yeah, and they got a little curve to them, so they curve down. And as soon as I get this roughed in, then I'll go ahead and bring it up in front of you, and I'll draw the edges in a little bit stronger so you can see my marks. And then it has a mark across the top here. It's rounded. It's got a rounded shape. There's another groove down here. I can put that in. Kind of define that shape there. Okay. All right. So far I got those in. Now I'm going to move over here to the left. On the left side, there's one over here. So this one is a little bit different over on this side. So this is the third lamp, and it's got a little. I'm going to start with the shade. It intersects now. It overlaps here. The shade overlaps here, and it's on an angle. It's kind of tilted. And so I'll get the intersection. It's right here up the top, and just the edge of it comes over. And I'm estimating that, and its edge is tilted. And it goes in front of this other lamp. Okay, I'm going to estimate the width. Get this parallel line. Estimate that width, and now I can draw in the top a little bit. Let me just draw the top in. Again, I'm going to do rough lines before I do any hard lines. Okay, all right. So I got that tilted. Now this. You notice here where the bottom goes in, it's not exactly in the center, it's off to the right. So I'll get that in. Estimating that length right there. And I've got this is a different shape on this. It comes over, has a little top on it. Let's see. And it comes down. This is kind of straight down. It does. It's got straight sides on it, so I'll come down straight. Bring this one over a little bit more. That's why I'm putting it in. What I'm doing is I'm drawing it with just some guidelines here, because before I put any dark lines, I'll make sure I got the right shape. Now the bottom here is round. It's got a round edge to it, and it's now this one here is in front. This lamp here is in front of the this lamp in the middle, so I got to come forward on the bottom a little bit. So this is behind, front, and this comes down. So the bottom of this will be about right here, and I'll bring this on down. So I'm drawing all this by observation, and I'll show you what I did before when I get this done. I'll show you some other things I did. Okay. All right. Now the only other thing I want to get in is the the shelf surface. This was sitting on a shelf, so there's a shelf here in the background. Right here behind there's a shelf. So I'll get the back of the shelf. It starts back here. So I'll draw that in. I'll get that rough draw on there, and I'll come across. So we'll have some idea of this thing sitting on something, a shelf or something. And then there's a front edge. The front edge here on the bottom of the photograph. I'll put that in. It starts down here, and it goes straight. It's not even with the paper line, so that's different. That's good. I want to have it not exactly follow the edge of the paper, so give a little angle to it, a little shape to it. Okay, now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to darken some stuff in now. So I'll start with the first one. I'll start with the first lamp that I started right in the middle. So let me darken the lines up, and I think it'll start looking like the photograph here pretty soon. So go ahead and darken this line up. I'll do this very quickly. It's just a sketch. When you're sketching, you just want to get the approximations. You want to get something that looks pretty close to what you see. You're not looking for perfection or accuracy exactly. You're just trying to get something that looks similar. And if you're collecting information for a painting or another drawing, then this would be a good reference then for later on. I'll bring this down. Okay, this gets a little bit wider here. Okay. All right, now I can come on down with this. There's a straight rod down the center of this lamp here. I'm working on the center lamp here, the one with the curves in. It's a little bit wider up here. And I can come down and get that shape. And I come down the other side. It's got like a little curve. It curves out and then comes down, and it's almost a straight line. I have to get past that little bend there. And then down at the base, it comes along here, and this has a little curve to it. I'll sharpen that out a little bit better. And then it goes down to the bottom, or to the floor, or to the shelf level. Okay. Okay. All right. Now let's get that's one of them in. That's the middle lamp so far. Okay. It's just to get a little darker diagram. Now let's finish this one off here. Going to darken this one in. I'm happy so far with the shape how it's going. I got the dimensions, the shape. This one's got a small curve to it. And this one comes out here. And this has a center section, which is where it connects us to the light bulb and sent. This has a curve. I like this one. It's got a curved surface to it. Interesting, very interesting. And this one curves this way. Then it has a curve here on the bottom, right here at the base here. This comes around, has another curve. They're parallel. This has a curve, and the shape of that is it's not circular. It has a shape that's zero. It comes down to a smaller bottom here. So let's do that. Let's come in, and it comes down to it flares out just the bottom a little bit. So I'm going to correct that. So this comes down. It should equal almost the same on both sides, and it flares out at the bottom. Okay, and the bottom is round. Okay, so I got the second one in with a round. Okay, then the third shape over here. This was the most interesting one because it was cockeyed. It was landing. It was at an angle, so it was the one that was. It wasn't a challenge, but it was just. It's what caught my attention. Whenever you're looking for something to draw or something to capture on location, especially if you're out walking around and want to find something to draw on the outside, either a landscape area or whatever, you want to find something that's different or something that catches your eye. And this particular shape here on the left here, the way it was, it was cockeyed, had an angle to it, and it has a different shape. So it made it interesting. So that's what caught my attention. Come to the top of this. And this has a an extra section. And this comes down here. These are straight lines. Pretty straight lines. These are pretty easy to do, just straight lines. You don't need rulers. You got to get in the habit of drawing a straight line without using a ruler. Just do the best you can. Do it in segments. Do an inch at a time, or the best you can. Okay, now.
That gives it personality as well.
All right. Yeah, you're right. I like the personality there. Now, what I'll do is I'll do a little shading. Now, the reason I like this is because this center one had some had a different color to it, had a different shade. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my shading pencil, which is like a 2B, and just put a little bit of lead out here. And I'm not going to do the whole thing, but what this does, this separates the shades in value. This is a little darker value, so that's different. And that's when you're out looking for objects to draw or objects to do whatever or even take pictures of. Try to find something that has interesting shapes, but also you want to find some contrast. This has a good contrast. It has a light and dark connection. This is a darker of color next to a lighter color, which makes it more attractive. It makes it more interesting to do a drawing of. So I'm going to shade the edges here, which are the ones that shows the difference, and the rest is just going to be like a shadow, or not shadow, but a light coming through the shade. Just to indicate it's a round surface. Okay, then down here, this whole structure now is solid. It's black. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill that in. So I'm shading in the shape here, and I'll bring my drawing up so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm shading in this shape right here of the lamp. And I'm also at the same time I'm putting a little more dimension on that because I want it has to be a little bit wider than what I drew initially. So I got to put a little more structure here, a little wider there, and this comes down. This is also an interesting lamp too. It had a nice, interesting shape to it. Had curves, angles. Had a different base. All three of these lamps, they were all different. They were entirely different, and that's what I look for. I look for things that are different. This one over here now, I'm going to leave the white one alone. I might just do a little shading up here, just slightly up the top. And just a little bit on the edges over here to separate it from the background. I'm going to leave the background white, so I want to shade a little bit around on the object itself so it separates it from the background. And now this one here is all dark, so I'll go ahead and shade that in. And this has got a light shining on it, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shade in the bottom part, make that solid. So I'm using I'm just shading in that whole shape, and use the side of the lid, and I do a crisscross strokes. Go one way and then come back and go the other way, and then it'll make your marks darker. Up and down, left and right. Then do a cross shadow. Or a crisscross stroke. Now up here I'm going to do just a very light. It's a dark color, but it's in light. So I'm just going to make an indication that it's a lighter color, a lighter shade, a lighter value. Okay, so I got that one in with a dark bottom and a lighter top. Okay, and the one over here, again, I'm just going to shade a little bit of the edges. Over here I would shade this edge. I'm going to leave this alone over here because it's pretty well defined by the darker one on the side. So leave that alone. But I'll get this outer edge over here. Again, it's separated from the background. Even though I've drawn the lines that separate, the value is what really separates the subject from each other. It's the value, lights and darks. Because you really don't see an edge out here. You see a light value against a dark value. That's what makes the edge. It's not the line. The line is just to help you show the shape. Now this one over here, this has got a metallic bottom here, and I'm just going to indicate that there's a dark spot over here, a dark area which is in shadow. I'll put that in, and there's a dark side over here which is in shadow. So. And there's some lines in here, and that kind of indicates that it's made out of metal because it's a shiny surface. Okay, I shade in both sides, both ends of it, and then I put a couple lines across it, and that'll indicate that it's metallic. Just vary the shading across there. Now the only other thing I can do is on the tabletop or the shelf there, just put a little bit of shadow here, not shadow, but a little bit of to break up the background and the level surface to show the wall. There's a wall behind this, so I'm going to show that this is the shelf, and then this. And I'm going to put a little bit of shadow around the objects. There isn't really a shadow pattern there, but I'm just going to put something there to show that this is sitting on a flat surface. Show that there's some material there, or it's some kind of structure that's sitting on. It's not just sitting in the air. I'm going to kind of put it flat. Okay, then this front part is all in shadow, and again, very quickly just put that in. Okay, then I can take my blender, and I can go in and do just a really quick blending, just a couple places here. This one over here, this one's darker, so I'm going to really spend a little more time on this one over here. And that smooths out those pencil marks. and a little bit on the tabletop. Okay. Okay, well that completes my drawing there of the three lamps that I saw in a hardware store, and I think I captured it. Now let me show you a couple of things I've done here now. When I was in the hardware store, here's what I did. I took my visual journal with me, which I take with me wherever I go. I have a journal. I have a drawing pad. This is my drawing pad, mixed media, my visual journal. And I always have a pencil and pen, but I have my watercolor set with me, my Everett's watercolor travel set. And so what I did was I drew the shape that I saw, which was the photograph I'm showing you here. So this was the photograph of what I was looking at, and this is actually what I saw. The same picture, the same photograph. So what I did was I drew it out with a pencil. I used a little bit of pen and ink to put in the outline of it, and then I used my watercolors to put in a background behind it. And I think it turned out pretty neat. But again, this was documentation on what I did. It was in a shopping cart that I did. If you notice, I had a little shopping cart, and this was propped up on a little box I have. And then my palette was here with the paints and the brushes, and a little spray bottle that goes with the travel set. And that's all I did. And I drew I painted what I saw, and there I could get the color of the metal. And I get the color of the light coming through the lamp. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought you'd like to see that. Then, yeah, you can. I've used watercolor paint here, but you can use color pencils. You can go take your pencils with you, but take your color pencil set with you, and you can do the same thing. Capture the color, whatever, with your color pencils. Good idea. And here's one I did this one earlier. As I came back from the hardware store, I sat down and drew this from the photograph, and then also just by sitting there and looking at it. It's not exactly what I did tonight, and it's really not as good a shape as I did tonight. But it was my first impression of those three lamps sitting on the shelf. So that was done on a piece of paper with just a pencil. Now, what you can do, a real challenge I give you, is that also I went ahead, this is what I did tonight. I went ahead and I recommend you turn the photograph upside down. Invert the photograph. This is like anything you draw, turn upside down. And then turn your paper upside down and draw it. I did it right here. I drew it upside down. And if you have trouble with the shapes and so forth, this will help you capture the shapes. Believe it or not, by turning your drawing picture or drawing paper upside down, draw the figure as you see it. What this does, this eliminates you from looking at it and identifying what you're drawing. This only allows you to concentrate on the shape and the size and the dimension. That's what upside down drawing does. I did an earlier session on this in Simply Drawing with Everett before about drawing upside down. So that's what I recommend you do if you're having trouble with drawing something like this. Turn the photograph upside down and try it that way. So let's go back to my main camera. Okay, well that was a very interesting exercise tonight. I really enjoyed those three lamps in the hardware store. I enjoyed painting them while I was on location, and I really look forward to sharing that with you and recommend that you do some on-location drawing yourself. It could be a still life like this in a hardware store or any place. Find yourself, I found a little corner that I wasn't interfering with anybody else in the store. I was fairly isolated by myself. I picked a subject that was easy to find and easy to see with lots of space around it. And then I took a couple photographs, so I had references. This is what I drew from tonight. And also, if you have time, do a small sketch while you're right there. Take your paper and pencil out, and a little drawing pad, and just do a quick little sketch. It'll get you all night. Be a nice practice for you to do drawing on location and on site. And I would recommend that to you to improve your drawing and improve your art and your eye and hand coordination is very important. So I really enjoyed sharing that with you tonight, and hope you like that. So if you have any questions or comments, put them on the comments on the video below. And I'll see you next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also I do Everett's Watercolors at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays. That's a live broadcast. Then I do also, if you do a drawing or do any art that we do here on the show, post it on my Facebook page, Everett's Watercolors Art Group on Facebook, and you can share it. That'd be fun. Also, I do a one-line drawing every Sunday. There'll be another video released on Sunday afternoon, or it gets released on Sunday. It'll be if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll get a notification of my anyone can draw with one line only. And it's become pretty popular. I think it's become a lot of people are watching that, and I'm really proud of it. So that's on Sunday. It'll be released on Sunday after midnight. So until next week, you all stay safe, and I'll see you next week on another drawing on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you all take care and have a safe week and stay healthy. So bye.